looking very square in the hair. Oh, okay, we're live here, we're live there. Can I scoot you guys closer so you guys look like you're both looking at me? Sorry. Hi. Oh, I'm gonna turn the heater off. It's cold in my room. Ugh. All right. Hi. It's Imagine Kazin and Carly. Thank you. I appreciate you thinking that I rock. Hi, Monty. People are coming in for the party. It's a picking party. Well, we're not. It's not a picking party. It's why we're not picking on our Tuesday tutorial today. So we're just gonna wait for another couple of people. I think I might have started right on time at 6:30. I have a client at 7, so I had to start a little early. And since we're trying to keep this short, it shouldn't bump into anything. Do I look very tired? I was out much too late last night, and I still feel like I'm starting to sag today. So, let me back this up. I feel like I'm all nose with this light. Nose and chin. All right, let's get started. All my favorite Instagram people are with me, so we can start. So we're gonna do a Tuesday tutorial today about not picking, since that is like one of those habits that we all have, except for maybe Monty, who has perfect skin, so we hate him. But picking, just like any kind of habit, is super addictive. There's a satisfaction that comes from picking. We all know it. Whether you're picking a actual blemish or you're picking a scab from a blemish, there's something very satisfying about getting that like sort of final pick. But as an esthetician, I have to tell you not to. I know how satisfying it is. I know look, I have a new person who joined us. Well, welcome. And so I'm going to help you with a couple of like reasons why you're not going to pick. It's just, besides it just being a bad habit, it's absolutely impossible to cover up a pick. Like once you've like picked at a blemish, it becomes a scab. Your body just immediately starts to try and correct it as an injury. And so it sends all of its cells to the injury spot and it scabs over. And it's much easier to cover a blemish than it is to cover a scab, because the scab is just, it's going to be dry, it's going to be rough, it's uneven. There's just no way to cover it nicely. And any makeup artist will tell you the same thing. Like they can absolutely cover up any kind of imperfection. But once it's like hard and crusty, it's harder to cover. And we've all learned the hard way. And this kind of stuff always happens on like the most stressful times of our lives, whether it's a big party, a wedding, a dance. You know, kids always suffer from like the big blemish on prom night, and then they want to pick it, and you're like, no, just cover it up with makeup. So there's a couple of different kinds of breakouts that we want to fight with, that we want to pick at. There are the traditional like little tiny whiteheads that look almost like a bubble, and you can like actually pop it, and like something like pus or oil or debris comes out of it. They tend to be really little. The really big ones are called pustules. We're gonna get to cysts for sure. The pustule ones, like, because like they tend to be so big, those are really, really dangerous to pop. They also spread a ton of bacteria, which could cause more breakouts. And I just would never give anybody any kind of permission to pick. You just like those big ones, like I know sometimes they pop on their own. Sometimes you scrape them off when you're washing your face. Sometimes you scrape them off when you're sleeping. But trying to avoid that, to let them heal naturally. Product can help heal them. That is the best method. Just do not pick at those. The milia, those also look like whiteheads. They tend to be a little bit harder. They're under the skin. They're often caused by moisturizer or product that is just too heavy for your particular skin. It happens on drier skins because drier skins tend to want to slack a lot of heavy product on in order to hydrate. So there's a buildup because the pores are so small. It's hard it's hard for the pore to breathe, so the debris and the oil doesn't come out naturally. So it becomes these little tiny hard milia. A lot of people get them under their eyes because of eye cream. But I've seen them all over, forehead, cheeks. Those you can absolutely not pick at. They're not even pickable. Your skin they come out if they could. You need to use some sort of exfoliator and not a scrub. It needs to be something that gets a little deeper so that top layers of skin cells start to get removed so the milia can come to the surface and come out naturally. I know that it's a total drag and you want to pick at it, but that is just going to really, really damage your skin. You'll get those, you can actually cause scarring, or you can have pigmentation, which is really hard to clear up. So if it's a scar, like a wound scar, those are hard. It's harder to recover from that kind of scarring. If it's just pigmentation, I'm very pale, so my pigmentation sometimes looks very red or looks very brown, that will actually clear up. It just takes a long time. It's just part of the healing process. You can continue to put on salicylic, any kind of spot treatment that you're already using. That's my dog being mad at somebody. Yeah, for pigmentation. If it's just blemish pigmentation, not other kinds of pigmentation. We're just talking about the kind of pigmentation that happens when your blemishes are healing. So sometimes they leave red or dark spots, and that you can continue putting on a spot treatment, and it'll eventually, the skin cells will slough off and that dark spot should go away. Not in every case, but in most cases. Blackheads, a lot of teenagers, those kinds of things, don't pick at those. Use an exfoliator. If you're having a lot of blackhead issues, then you want to make sure that you're going to see somebody to help recommend products that help to clear up your skin. It's just oxidized oil that just needs to either be extracted professionally or needs to have product in order to needs product to help balance your skin. You're probably just using product that's not appropriate for your skin. You might be too oily. Blackheads on noses. People love to pick at the blackheads on the noses. Don't do that. It's just oxidized oil. It's not really blackheads at all. Those Biore strips, don't use those. Again, use something that exfoliates, something that, a serum. You can use retinols, you can use glycolics, but that's just a natural process of the oils on the nose. You don't want to take that out. It just fills back up anyway, and you can, and you want to have pores on your nose, so don't be so mad about, and everybody has them. I guarantee you, you think that nobody does, everybody has them. Harrison has a blackhead between his eyes, too young to exfoliate. Probably it'll come out. He's just a little kid. Harrison's Carly's son. He's tiny. He's probably just a dirty little boy anyway. And I don't really know I'd have to see it to be able to say whether it's really a blackhead. Feel free to take a picture and send it to me and we can look at it. What if the spot didn't go away? It healed, but it didn't go away. If you've got a pigmentation spot from an old scar, you can try some of the lightening agents. That kind of stuff actually has good results for that. It helps that kind of pigmentation better than it helps sunspots. It's been there a while. Carly, take a picture of it. Let's look at it. Somebody else had a question. Do you recommend? I have to admit, I don't know enough about the pimple patches. I don't know what the ingredients are of the pimple patches in order to speak intelligently about it. So I wouldn't want to make a recommendation either way. But I'm happy to look into it and do a little research and see if pimple patches are appropriate. And I love words with P's in it. Okay, so the big one is the cysts. The cysts come out, they tend to be hormonal. Traditionally, they are jawline. They are hormonal, they're under the skin. The people who suffer from them, they generally can feel them coming. They have like a tingle. Absolutely do not pick at those. You cannot, they're too deep. They're not coming from the same thing that like the oil, like they're not the pustules, they're not the like little tiny papules that come out like after you've like done a lip wax or an eyebrow wax and you get those little like oil pimples. The cysts are a total bummer. They tend to be hormonal. If you're having them super regularly, I highly recommend having your hormones checked. Sometimes, just having something that balances out those hormones will help, but do not pick them. I've heard horror stories about cortisone shots. Those things need to absorb back into the body. There are some great products out there that help with those cysts. Renee Rouleau makes a anti-cyst treatment that is really successful. You have to be really diligent about using it. You start using it the second you start to feel that tingle and just keep putting it on and putting it on and putting it on and putting it on. You want to treat those as soon as you can. Those are the ones that leave those like unfortunate pitted scars. Like, Ray Liotta has like that really pitted skin. It's so unfortunate. Though there's absolutely nothing that he could have done about it. Like, he did not pick. That is not picking. That is his body trying to fight that infection. The cells go to those cysts. They knock every piece of collagen and elastin out of the way in order to clear it up. It's a total bummer. So if you're getting those kinds of cysts, you want to try and treat it really quickly, but do not pick it. You want them to absorb back into your body and to go away. I mean, it's just impossible. You can't get it out anyway, so don't even try. Like I said, the Renee Rouleau product's really good for it. I recommend it to lots of my clients. There's a couple of companies do it like an herbal compound. Arcana does one, and so does Eminence. They both do an herbal version to help break down that bacteria and get those that cyst to really dissolve. They both get success. So if you have any other recommendations that I don't know about, please let me know. If you need other answers, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm happy to do some research for you. And the cysts are really there because they linger so long. But please don't pick at them. Monique just showed up. She uses the herbal compound. She's had really good success with it, and she actually doesn't even get those cysty ones so much anymore. But it's a hormonal thing. So, and our bodies cycle. So sometimes you just you come out of the hormone flux. It happens like periodically in our life for a variety of reasons, especially as women. We have these hormone fluxes our whole lives. So, you're not having it now, you might have it later. Just be armed with information. Tea tree oil will not work on cysts. Tea tree oil helps to dry, but it doesn't go in deep enough in order to kill the bacteria. It's much too surface. Okay, so picking, don't pick. So if you really feel like you have things that need to be extracted, hi Skin Studio, thank you for coming. If you really think that you have things that need to be extracted, definitely see a professional. As an esthetician, I know what'll come out and what won't come out. I'm not going to like press so hard where I can cause injury the way we do on ourselves, where we just push and push and push and see how much pain we can. Like, I know when it hurts. Like, that's when we stop. That's when we start to back off. Also, I'm not going to dig my fingernails into your face the way we do to ourselves. And then you get those like crescent little cuts in your face from trying to extract your own blackheads or whiteheads or whatever. So if you have things that need to be extracted, please leave it to the professionals. If you are in LA and you feel comfortable, come see me. If you are somewhere else and you want a recommendation, feel free to let me know. I will be happy to do research to find somebody who you would be comfortable with in your area. I love to do that kind of research and find people that work for you as a person and your budget. So let me know. Don't use tools. Don't use those extractor tools. Again, you're just going to put too much pressure. Chances that you slip or miss, or you just don't want to injure yourself, just for that satisfaction of picking. So let's do tips on how not to pick. So just as a general rule of thumb, you should never be touching your face. Not ever, ever. You should just get that into your whole like being. Like, your hands are dirty, your face is dirty. Just keep your hands off your face at all times. There's never a time where it's okay to be touching your face. You've got itches, you can use the edge of your fingernail. But let's just, as a general rule, not put our hands on our face. Therefore, you are one step closer to not picking. One of the things we do when we do pick is we tend to be tired. We tend to be maybe irritable, and there's a comfort in that. And so we go into the bathroom and we look at ourselves in the mirror and we lean really close. And the second your hips hit that vanity, hit the sink counter, you need to back out. Like, you do not lean into the mirror. The second you feel your body touching the counter, like, back out, leave the bathroom, start over. It's kind of like when you have too much sugar in your teeth, go brush your teeth, get it out of your system. It really does help, like, because, it's like Pavlov's dog, where you can, feel that you're like leaning in too close. Don't use magnifying mirrors. They're totally insulting. They just make you feel bad about yourself, and you end up having over-tweezed eyebrows. So if you have a magnifying mirror, unless you're blind, because, some of us are blind, please just don't use the magnifying mirror. It's just a bad practice. Don't linger in the bathroom. Don't linger and look at yourself too long in the mirror. Don't inspect yourself. Keep yourself at a distance at the same ratio that another human being would look at you. There's no reason you need to be looking at yourself so close. Your breath shouldn't be heating up the mirror. Your nose shouldn't be touching it. You won't see all that, like, those imperfections if you're not like looking so close and giving yourself such a hard time. Because if you asked any of your friends, nobody would know what you were talking about unless you picked. If you picked, they're going to see it. So just give yourself a little bit of like breathing room. For my really bad pickers, I will you've got to leave the bathroom. Do what you got to do and get out of the bathroom. Now, if that doesn't work for you, my worst offenders, I've actually told them that they can't use light in the bathroom. They have to actually brush their teeth and wash their face without light so they won't pick. So, and that works. I mean, you start to give yourself these barriers and it gets you to stop doing it. It's just like anything. It's a habit, and it's breakable. So with that, if this is just one of those things that you're totally addicted to, there are methods to psych yourself out. And I've heard great success with hypnotism. It sounds super crazy, but I know lots of people who have had great success being hypnotized out of these habits. Now, I don't have a hypnotist in my back pocket to recommend to you, but if this is something that you need for anything, for smoking, for picking, for biting your nails, for whatever, Like, I'm happy to do that research. I will find you a hypnotist in your area, and then you can just tell me how you like them. So, thank you. One person, no more picking. Yay! And I'm gonna follow up on you. I'm gonna check on you on Instagram. Make sure you're not picking. Sometimes you just need an accountability partner. Often, my clients, I'll shoot them a text. I know that they're picking. You just feel in your bones. So, no touching your face. Don't lean into the mirror. I know that we're told as women that we're supposed to lean in, but that's not the intention. No magnifying mirrors, and get out of the bathroom. So those are my tips. Super easy. Let's try to be a non-picking society, shall we? So if you guys have any other questions, I am happy to answer them. You can leave them in the comments. I'll see them later. If you have any suggestions for other Tuesday tutorials that you want me to talk about next week, I will see you here somewhere around 6:37. I thank you guys all for showing up. It's really nice. Every week I get a couple of new people to come in. It's really fun to be able to do this with you guys. So thank you so much, and no picking. All right, I'll see you next week. Thanks.